Hello citizens and welcome back. These are the player ratings for Chelsea 0, Man City 1. So make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe as well if you're new. And as always, we're just going to jump straight into it. So we're going to start off with Ederson. Of course, he retains his place. He always does no matter what. He did okay, didn't do great, didn't do bad. He had really nothing to do. A couple of crosses came his way. He made one save in the first half that I remember. And he claimed a couple of crosses as well. I thought he was protected quite well ahead of him, with, in particular, John Stones. So Ederson, I'm just going to give a 6. Did nothing wrong, didn't concede a goal, kept a clean sheet, nothing special. Get on with your day sort of thing. Going back, now, Cancelo came into the team. Pep brought him back in. Pep played him on the right-hand side, which was a surprise. I expected him to play on the left, where I thought the team would have been a bit more balanced, but Pep put him on the right-hand side. And he did get up and down the pitch quite well in that first half. I thought he had a good game. I thought he attacked Cucurella really well. I thought he had his number every time. He kept getting past him, put a few dangerous balls into the box, had a shot as well saved. I thought he was probably our most dangerous player in that first half. I thought he did really well. And he's going to get a 7. Unfortunately, he went off at halftime injured, which was a shame because I think that hurt us in the second half. Going into the middle, we had Kyle Walker, who was also back in the team. Now, Pep did decide to play him at centre-half as a ball-playing centre-back. And Walker is not a ball-playing defender. His strength is his pace. And unfortunately, today, well, in this match, he gave away so many passes. You know, he was poor in that first half. He really was. He was at fault for like 3 counter-attacks, I think, from Chelsea in that first half. He was absolutely dying at half-time. I was calling for Pep to bring him off. Thankfully, he did bring him off and he put in Lewis. But Walker really had a poor game for me. He really did. He didn't do anything well. You know, whether he's off the pace a little bit because he's just come back from the World Cup and he's been out injured before that, or because he was in like a position on the pitch, centre-half, that he doesn't normally play. Whatever it is, whether he's at fault or Pep's at fault, he had a terrible game. And for me, I think he's going to be lucky to get back in the team ahead of Lewis, because I'd rather have Rico Lewis than Kyle Walker in my team right now. Walker, for me, a 2. Absolutely terrible. I thought he was the worst player on the pitch out of both teams. Next to him, Stones. Stones was phenomenal in that first half in particular. And in the second half, he won all his headers. He was strong. You know, he can play out from the back as well. And you could see he took in the leadership role in that first half. He was calling people to him. He was telling them to move, you know, because no one ahead of him was giving him any passing. No one was making space for him. Everyone was just quite static in that first half. And I saw a couple of times where Walker was yelling, not Walker, Stones was yelling at people to move. He was yelling at people to make space for him and to give him an option. And no one did that. Stones was brilliant for me. He gets an 8, possibly a 9. I'm going to go 8 or 9. And I just think he was incredible. And he got man of the match from Sky. And I said in my watch along 20 minutes before that he was my man of the match as well. He was absolutely incredible. Well done, Stones. Love him. Left hand side, Ake. I thought Ake did okay as well. Of course, he's not going to get up and down the pitch. That's why I expected Cancelo to be on the left hand side. But what he does well. And I thought he defended quite reasonable, to be honest with you. Most of the time in that first half, it was a 2-on-1 situation. Ziyech were attacking with Aubameyang. But Ake did enough, you know. And he was asking for help a couple of times from Foden, who was ahead of him. Foden wasn't getting back and helping him out. Gundogan was stepping back every now and then to cover for him. But Ake managed. He did okay. I'm going to give him a 7 because I think him and Stones were probably the bright spots defensively for us in this game. Ahead of them, Rodri. Look, Rodri for me, you can see the determination in him. You can see his quality. And I think he is probably almost at his best. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's holding up the ball nicely. His passing's good. You know, and he creates opportunities for players ahead of him, and he covers the defense really well. And he drops back to that centre-half position quite regularly to help this defense, who are vulnerable on the counter-attack. And for me, Rodri, you know, a 7. I think he keeps the team ticking over. And when he went off towards the end of the second half, when Phillips came on for him, we saw how rusty Phillips is and just how important that Rodri is when he doesn't give them balls away. Because a couple of times, Phillips made a lunge that he shouldn't have done, or gave the ball away, let Chelsea counter-attack and potentially let him equalise late on. Rodri doesn't do that often. Rodri keeps possession. Rodri keeps ticking over nicely. So 7 for Rodri. Ahead of him, we've got Gundogan. I wasn't surprised Gundogan came in because the game against Everton, the whole team were poor creativity. Like they were shocking against Everton, and I was actually quite surprised that De Bruyne started. Well, I'm not surprised De Bruyne started. He's probably our best player, best midfielder in the world, but he was dire against Everton, and Gundogan had to come in to help him out. In this game, I think Gundogan mostly helped defensively rather than going forward. More evident in the first half, although the one great opportunity that Haaland had in the entire match, if you don't count his slide in the second half where he just couldn't quite reach the ball, it was in the first half when Gundogan turned on the ball, took one touch out of his feet and then passed it through the middle straight to Haaland. So other than that, I mean, 6 for Gundogan because, again, it's just a solid performance, but nothing too special. Next to him, Bernardo Silva playing in the middle, letting De Bruyne go out on the right-hand side. But Bernardo gets around the pitch, and he did it again against Chelsea. He's on the left, he's on the right, he's mostly at the back. But in the second half, when Pep pushed him forward, when Pep actually tinkered the formation a little bit and put players in their actual position, because Bernardo should have started this match on that right wing. When he actually got there in the second half, he was actually causing Cucurella all kinds of problems. They couldn't handle him because he's so tricky. That close ball control he's got when he's running with it into the box. He's dangerous. And there was a point where he beat Cucurella 3 times in one run. And for me, it was a crime that Bernardo didn't start on that right-hand side. I get why Pep put him in the middle to help out with the defense and help with the counter-attacks. But you got to play him on the right. He's so good with the ball. And Chelsea didn't know how to handle him. So I'm going to give Bernardo a 7 as well. And I thought he was unlucky to come off with him. That was a fitness thing or what. But I do think Bernardo was one of the better players in that second half. Foden, left-hand side. Foden was, it was tough for Foden because in the first half, he only had 19 touches. He didn't get into the game at all. All our attacks were going on the right-hand side where Bernardo, where Cancelo, where De Bruyne, and where Walker were. Nothing was going on the left-hand side. He wasn't getting support, just like he wasn't helping Ake going back. A lot, Ake wasn't helping him when they're getting forward. So Foden wasn't getting a lot of service. So for that, I mean, I just have to give him a 6 because he didn't have a poor game and he didn't have a good game. It was just there. And he had one nice moment in the second half, which is what maybe Grealish and Mahrez don't do enough, which was he gets the ball and instead of going back towards the halfway line with it, he just spun on it and ran into the Chelsea box and he won a free kick. And from that, from Azpilicueta. So Foden, standing 6. Right-hand side, De Bruyne. I thought he was poor in this game, I've got to say. Again, he carried on his form from Everton. First half, he gave the ball away too many times to let Chelsea counter on us. His crossing was off, his passing was off. Second half, he did a little bit better without actually doing anything. Most of his work was defensively, which in truth was probably most of the team's work was defensively because we just couldn't get the ball up the pitch. We couldn't, go the other end. We couldn't create anything really for large parts of that game. But he's got to do better. He's got, for someone of his quality and someone with his ability, the ball went through him for the goal. And there was a couple of times when he did spin on it and he did try and create counter-attack. But he's got to do more. He's got to take control of these matches. We trust him so much. And when he has a bad game, the rest of the team tends to have a bad game. And as one of the captains, I just feel like we should be getting more out of him because he should be coming into peak form now after the World Cup. So for me, De Bruyne, a 5. That moves us on to Haaland, who again, first half, 11 touches, had one decent chance, which I think if he gets on target, he scores. Second half, he was pretty much just pressing the Chelsea defence. He was closing them down. He was not letting them have the ball for too long. But he didn't do anything, did he really? He didn't get on the end of any crosses. He didn't, he was dropping deep a lot. He was trying to link up play. And the couple of times he did drop deep when he was laying the ball off for people, he was winning his headers. Massively important for us. And I think he had 2 fantastic defensive headers as well. There's one from a free kick and one from a corner where the ball went into the near post and he's headed it away. Defensively, he was huge for us against Chelsea. Absolutely huge set pieces. But going forward, we just couldn't get him into the game. We just couldn't get it to him enough. And when we did, it was either a poor pass, it was too heavy, too short, or he was off balance when he took that shot. So for me, Haaland gets a 6. Now, the team were poor, and, my man of the match is Stones. I thought he was phenomenal. Walker had a dire game. But you got to wonder to yourself, how much of this do you put on to Pep? Because Everton, he played the wrong starting 11. This one, he played a better starting 11, but he mixed up the positions. These players shouldn't be put in these positions. Walker shouldn't be playing at centre-half for us. De Bruyne shouldn't be playing right wing for us. Bernardo should have been there. De Bruyne should have been in the middle. Walker should be on the right. Cancelo on the left. Ake in the middle along Stones. This team was off balance at the beginning of the game. And for the first half, it showed. We just couldn't get the ball. We couldn't get any momentum going. We couldn't get any possession. And, the changes at halftime, whether it was forced for Cancelo and He needed to make that change with Walker. He was having a bad game. They really did help. And for once, we saw Pep make early substitutions. He made the sub for Mahrez and Grealish in the 60th minute. He didn't wait till the 85th minute when we were desperately hanging on or we needed a goal to win. He made the changes early, and we got the result because of it. And I want to see him do that more often. But for me, Pep has to sort it out. He's just got to play the best 11 in the best formation, in the best positions, game in, game out. He said it himself, we've got to be perfect from now on in. And with United at Old Trafford, the next league game we've got, we can't afford slip-ups. You can't keep making these changes and changing the way we play and mixing players' positions up. Just play your best team. I don't know. Why is that so hard to do? I don't get it. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's my player ratings. Let me know in the comments what your player ratings would be. I've probably been too harsh. Maybe I've not been kind enough to a few. But yeah, 3 points against Chelsea. It was a massive game, and we're now 5 points behind Arsenal, of course, who drew with Newcastle. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out. Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe as well. See you again.